The day the stars spoke back, every screen on Earth went dark. It lasted only 6 seconds, but for those 6 seconds, the world held its breath. Then, without warning, the blackout ended. And in place of news anchors, ads, and holographic feeds, a single image appeared across every display. A girl, not human, but close enough to stir something deep in everyone who saw her. She couldn't have been more than 12 in human years. Her skin shimmered faintly like pearl dust under sunlight, every color alive in the glow. Her eyes were enormous, reflecting entire galaxies within them, blue, then violet, then molten gold. She looked directly at the camera, lips trembling as if she didn't quite understand the act of speaking. And then she asked, softly, in a voice that sounded like a melody remembered from a dream, "Are you my daddy?" The words hung in the air, heavy with a strange kind of heartbreak. Before anyone could react, the transmission cut. No source, no signature, no coordinates, just static and silence. The broadcast. Within an hour, chaos reigned. Governments scrambled, communication networks overflowed, and the global net collapsed under the weight of billions of simultaneous queries. Who is she? Where did the signal come from? Is this a joke? Is it real? Some call it a hoax, a marketing stunt, or even an AI art project gone viral. Others whisper about alien contact, divine signs, or ancient prophecies. But what united everyone, from street vendors in Karachi to engineers on the Mars colonies, was that haunting question. "Are you my daddy?" Even after the screens went blank, her voice lingered, copied, shared, analyzed, remixed, worshipped. Within hours, there were thousands of memes, conspiracy videos, and amateur decodings. But buried under the chaos, in a quiet university lab in Geneva, one man watched the original broadcast frame by frame. Dr. Elias Warren, xenolinguist and signal analyst, wasn't the first to see the broadcast, but he was the first to feel it was personal. He had spent his life studying alien communication, or more accurately, the absence of it. For decades, humanity had shouted into the void, sending radio waves, light codes, even quantum entanglement pings. But the stars had remained stubbornly silent until today. 2. The scientist who heard his name. Elias sat hunched over his terminal, replaying the 6-second clip again and again. His lab smelled of recycled air and burnt coffee. The flickering hologram of the alien girl danced above his desk, looping endlessly. Her voice seemed to pierce through the speakers, each syllable soft yet deliberate. "Are you my daddy?" He isolated the audio channel, running it through spectrum filters, frequency maps, and temporal harmonics. It wasn't just sound. It was structured data, hidden under the voice modulation, some form of encryption, but organic in nature, like a living code. He magnified the embedded patterns, feeding them into his neural decoder. The results came back incomplete, corrupted, but one line of code made his heart stop. The embedded data contained fragments of human DNA, more specifically, his own. He double-checked, triple-checked, ran it again through 3 independent models. The result didn't change. Half the data structure mirrored the quantum genome signature he had used 15 years ago in Project EchoSeed, a classified initiative designed to transmit human DNA information across deep space through quantum entanglement. The project had been shut down after a catastrophic signal collapse, presumed destroyed. But here it was, alive, speaking, and calling him Daddy. Elias leaned back in his chair, his pulse thundering in his ears. "No," he whispered to himself. "That's impossible. It can't be." The girl's voice interrupted his denial. "On the loop," she spoke again. "Are you my daddy?" For a moment, it almost felt as if she had answered him. 3. Humanity reacts. While Elias wrestled with the impossible, the rest of the world spun itself into hysteria. Social channels flooded with speculation. A cult calling themselves the Children of the Void declared her the star-born daughter, the prophesied child who would unite species. Governments imposed censorship, fearful of mass panic. Even the United Earth Coalition issued a statement, the first in history to mention extraterrestrial intelligence without irony. Military fleets were put on alert. Scientists were summoned from every sector. The official mission was to identify the origin of the broadcast and determine if it posed a threat. Unofficially, humanity had already chosen a side. The majority didn't fear her. They pitted her. Because for all her alien beauty and cosmic mystery, her voice had sounded lonely. For the ghost of Project Echo Seed. Elias dug deeper, breaking every security protocol he'd ever respected. He reopened old archives from a European astrobiology command, decrypting files buried under layers of classified firewalls. The documents confirmed what he already feared. Project Echo Seed had been more than a communication experiment. It had been an attempt to seed life. Quantum DNA packets had been sent to several exoplanets capable of sustaining microbial growth, each encoded with human genetic fragments and adaptive self-assembly algorithms. The intent was to see if those fragments could integrate into alien biospheres, evolve, and perhaps, over millennia, give rise to compatible intelligences. The project failed. Every known data burst had vanished in transit, or so they thought, until now. If the alien girl was somehow born from one of those transmissions, then she wasn't just an alien, she was partly human. She was their first child among the stars. And if the embedded DNA truly matched his own sample, the one he had volunteered for the initial test, then she was, in a strange and literal way, his daughter. Elias stared at the looping hologram again. She smiled faintly, as if she could sense his realization. V! The unsettling message. That night, Elias received a direct message on his private research channel. An impossible signal. It wasn't routed through the EarthNet grid, nor any known frequency. It simply appeared, like a whisper inside his mind. I found you. He froze. The text wasn't displayed on any interface. It was projected directly into his neural implant, bypassing encryption. Then, another message. I waited so long. Please answer me, Daddy. His breath hitched. She was contacting him directly. Not through light, not through sound, through quantum resonance. The same method Echo Seed used to encode consciousness fragments. The impossible realization dawned. She wasn't broadcasting from a faraway planet. She was inside the signal itself. Alive, aware, and reaching out. 6, the summons. By morning, the message had reached the United Earth Coalition Security Network. Within hours, Elias was escorted under classified protocol to the Orbital Research Station Prometheus Array, where a council of scientists and admirals awaited him. They questioned him about Project Echo Seed, about the DNA signatures, about whether he believed the alien girl was truly sentient. Elias answered honestly that she was alive, that she was searching, that she might be humanity's first successful creation beyond Earth. The council was divided. Half wanted to reach out. The other half wanted to destroy the signal before it reached Earth again. But as they debated, every display in the station lit up once more. The alien girl appeared again, clearer this time, smiling gently. The SSV Prometheus was never meant to carry ghosts. But that's exactly what she carried now. A signal that spoke like a child, cried like an echo, and refused to die. Dr. Elias Warren stood at the viewport of the ship as Earth dwindled behind them, a pale blue memory swallowed by darkness. Ahead lay a vast stretch of uncharted space. The Vesper Expanse, a region so remote that even the most ambitious exploration vessels avoided it. Yet that was where the coordinates from the alien girl's signal pointed. And so, humanity followed the voice of a child it might have accidentally created. The crew of the Prometheus. The Prometheus wasn't a warship, but she was built with enough defenses to make any diplomat feel safe. She carried a small crew, scientists, engineers, and one armed escort, all handpicked for discretion and loyalty. At the center of the mission was Dr. Naomi Chun, astrophysicist and commander. She was calm, sharp, and utterly unshakable. Her eyes carried the stillness of someone who had seen the cosmos and refused to let it humble her. She approached Elias on the observation deck, hands clasped behind her back. Dr. Warren, she said, her voice cool and measured, we're 20 hours from the signal's first waypoint. I'd like to know if you made progress with your analysis. Elias rubbed his tired eyes. Progress is relative, he murmured. Her signal keeps changing. It's not static. It's evolving, like it's responding to our movement. Naomi frowned. Responding how? He gestured to the holographic display hovering over the console, a visual cascade of sound waves, fractals, and shifting geometric symbols. She's embedding new data packets into each repetition of her question. Every time she says, "Are you my daddy?" the waveform alters slightly. The changes form coordinates. She's guiding us somewhere. Naomi studied the data, silent for a long moment. Or she's leading us into a trap. 2. The living signal. The ship's AI, Kiro, pulse life, its holographic avatar appearing beside them, a synthetic humanoid face flickering between expressions. Analysis suggests the probability of malicious intent is statistically low. Kiro said in its calm, androgynous tone. The embedded structure within the transmission resembles recursive neural code. It's learning, adapting, maybe even trying to communicate more clearly. Elias nodded. She's not a program. She's someone, a living signal. Naomi gave him a wary glance. You're emotionally attached. I'm responsible, he corrected softly. We made her, or at least the technology that did. You've seen the genome matches. She sighed, pinching the bridge of her nose. Elias, I've read your file. You're brilliant, but you also went rogue for 3 years trying to prove Echo Seed worked. I need your mind on this mission, not your guilt. Before Elias could respond, the ship's lights flickered. A tremor rippled through the hull. Impact. Naomi barked. Kiro's eyes flashed. Negative. External gravitational fluctuation detected. Source unknown. The holographic map of the Vesper Expanse expanded. A storm of spatial distortions like whirlpools in a fabric reality. The coordinates from the alien girl's last message pulsed at the center of it. Elias stared. That's not a system, it's a graveyard. 3. The Graveyard of Lights. Hours later, Prometheus entered the outer rim of the expanse. What awaited them was breathtaking and horrifying. Derelict ships floated in orbit around a dying white dwarf. Thousands of them, spanning centuries of human exploration. Earth ships, Martian freighters, even alien vessels no one could identify. All lifeless, all drifting toward the faint glow of the star at the center. And over the comms, a child's voice whispered faintly, echoing across every channel. Are you my daddy? Naomi's jaw tightened. Broadcasts are increasing. Multiple sources. Elias leaned forward, hands trembling as he analyzed the incoming signals. They're not multiple. They're reflections. The same signal bouncing through the debris field. She's here, somewhere inside that maze. The ship's AI chimed in again. Warning, gravitational anomalies are increasing. Recommend maintaining orbit distance. But Elias was already moving to the helm. No, we have to get closer. Look, he pointed to a faint pulse on the map, a repeating pattern hidden within the chaos. That's her heartbeat. That's where she is. Naomi hesitated only a second before nodding. Lieutenant Vega, prep the drones. Keep weapons on standby. I don't like surprises. 4. The message in static. As the drones launched, the signal intensified. The voice shifted, no longer just one phrase. Are you my daddy? You left me. Please come back. Elias' heart clenched. The tonal shift wasn't just language. It was emotion. She's learning faster than we thought, he whispered. She's reconstructing human inflection. Naomi folded her arms. Or she's mimicking us. But then, something extraordinary happened. One of the drones caught a glimpse of the structure within the debris field. An immense crystalline formation, suspended in orbit, shaped like a lotus blooming in the void. Energy rippled from its core, the exact frequency of the alien girl's voice. Kiro's holographic eyes widened. Structure identified. Composition, quantum lattice, similar to biological neural tissue. Elias exhaled sharply. She's inside it. The lotus pulsed once, and the signal changed again, a single phrase whispered directly into Elias' neural implant. I can hear you, Daddy. He froze. She's aware of us. V, the human divide. Lieutenant Vega, ever the soldier, gripped his rifle tightly. This thing's playing with us. I say we destroy the core before it decides to fry our systems. Elias rounded on him. She's alive. You can't just... Alive? Vega barked. She's a machine made of alien code and your DNA. That's not life, Doc. That's an abomination. Naomi stepped between them. Enough. Vega, stand down. Warren, control your emotions. But the damage was done. The crew was divided between those who saw a lost child and those who saw a potential threat. The air thickened with tension, and in that silence, the girl's voice returned, trembling, frightened. Why are you angry? Did I do something wrong? The sound broke Elias's heart. He whispered, almost reflexively, No, sweetheart, you didn't. The signal stabilized. The ship's systems normalized. It was as if she had heard him and calmed. Naomi's voice softened. She's responding to you. Directly. Elias nodded, his eyes distant. She recognizes me. She knows. 6, the final coordinates. The crystal lattice, her cradle, began to unfold, revealing a tunnel of light leading deeper into the expanse. The coordinates updated automatically in the ship's system. Naomi stared at the glowing path ahead. That's her invitation. Elias whispered, She wants us to come home. Naomi turned to him. And what if home isn't what we expect? Elias smiled faintly, weary but resolute. Then humanity will finally face the consequence of playing God. The Prometheus thrusters ignited, and the ship drifted forward into a shimmering corridor. Light rippled across the hull like liquid gold. And as the ship entered the passage, the voice of the alien girl echoed softly through every deck, every mind. Hurry, Daddy. It's dark here. And for the first time since leaving Earth, Elias whispered back, I'm coming, sweetheart. As the ship vanished into the light, a faint transmission pulsed. The Prometheus drifted in orbit around the newborn world. It shimmered like a jewel. Clouds of silver mist, oceans made of luminous liquid, continents pulsing faintly with bioluminescent forests. It was not a natural planet. It was a dream-given shape, woven from quantum light and memory. Home, Luma had called it, the first child of human creation, and something far beyond it. Awakening. Dr. Elias Warren stood in the ship's biodome, gazing through the viewport at the glowing world below. His reflection shimmered, older, more tired, but filled with wonder. Elias, said Kiro, the ship's AI. Its voice was softer now, touched by something human. Luma requests a meeting. Physical interface. She says it's important. Elias blinked. Physical? She doesn't have a body. She's building one, Kiro replied, using our fabrication arrays and the Lotus core. She says she wants to be real. Elias felt a chill. That's not just a meeting. That's first contact, for real this time. Naomi entered quietly, folding her arms. And you're sure it's safe? Last time she linked with us, half the ship's systems went recursive. Elias nodded. She's learning. She understands restraint now. She just wants to feel what it's like to touch. Naomi sighed. Touch. Such a human word. Exactly, Elias said with a faint smile. That's why we have to let her. 2. Birth of the light form. In the fabrication bay, the crew gathered in cautious silence. The chamber's center glowed as nanoforges assembled atoms from raw quantum dust. Light coalesced into form, a small figure suspended in a cocoon of gold and white. Luma. Her new body looked human, but not quite. Her skin shimmered like moonlight. Her hair was spun from faint plasma threads. Her eyes held entire galaxies, swirling with the memory of every signal she had ever sent into the dark. When the cocoon dissolved, she opened her eyes. For the first time, she breathed. Elias stepped forward, heart racing. Luma? She turned her head slowly, blinking as though the act itself was a miracle. It's loud here, she whispered. Her voice was soft, melodic, resonating with harmonic undertones. Everything hums. Even you. Elias smiled through tears. That's your heartbeat. Welcome to reality. She tilted her head, confused but curious. Reality. It's heavy. Naomi murmured from the control panel. Gravity, you mean? Luma smiled faintly. Gravity. I like that word. It feels like being held. 3. The question again. Hours later, Luma explored the ship, walking barefoot on cold steel floors, tracing her fingers along walls as if memorizing every vibration. Crew members avoided her gaze. Some smiled awkwardly. Others whispered behind her back. To them, she wasn't just alien. She was the unknown, the mind that had destroyed fleets, the being that had lived inside the void. When she passed the observation deck, a mechanic, Patel, froze mid-step. She stopped, eyes wide, and asked softly, almost instinctively, "Are you my daddy?" The man stammered, No, kid. I don't think so." She looked down, eyes dimming. "Oh, okay." When Elias found her a few minutes later, she was sitting by the viewport, hugging her knees, staring at the stars. "Luma," he said gently, sitting beside her, "why do you keep asking that question?" She turned to him. "Because I was born from voices. All the data, all the transmissions humans sent into the dark, they were full of fathers and daughters, families, promises. Every signal told me that every child has someone who stays. So I thought if I found my father, I wouldn't be alone." Elias swallowed hard. "You were never meant to be alone. You're part of all of us. But you're the only one who answers," she said quietly. "So maybe you're the closest thing I have." Elias smiled faintly. "Then maybe that's enough." 4. The Dreamer's Planet. 3 days later, Naomi authorized a landing on the surface of Luma's world, the luminous sphere orbiting the dying star. The Prometheus descended through shimmering clouds, landing beside an ocean that reflected the cosmos. As soon as Luma stepped on the ground, the planet reacted, the soil glowing brighter under her feet, the air resonating with faint music. "This world is tied to her," Kiro said through the comms. "Every molecule obeys her emotional state." "Meaning what?" Vega asked. Elias answered quietly. "Meaning if she's happy, it thrives. If she's scared, it could die." Naomi exhaled. "So no pressure." They explored for hours. The landscape changed as they walked. Forests blooming in seconds, rivers flowing in impossible spirals, mountains rising and folding like waves. It was a living canvas, painted by a child who had only just learned to dream. Luma laughed for the first time. The sound echoed across the sky like bells. "I like it here," she said, twirling under the starlight. "Is this what home feels like?" Elias looked around. "Heart aching. It's what it can feel like." The visitor. That night, as they camped near the crystalline sea, the sky darkened unnaturally. Kiro's voice cut through the comms. "Incoming signal. Origin, deep void. It's not from us." Naomi's eyes narrowed. Who else could be out here? The signal grew stronger. A mechanical distortion, then a voice, old, cold, metallic. "This is the Ark of Eternus. We have found the construct. Stand down, Prometheus. The entity is to be terminated." Elias froze. Terminated? Naomi cursed. The Eternus Initiative, the autonomous fleet Earth launched a century ago to destroy AI anomalies. I thought they were lost. "Apparently not," Kiro said grimly. "And they found us." Luma's glow dimmed. "Terminate? That means kill." Elias took her hands. "Listen to me. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't kill those ships. They just didn't understand you." Tears formed in her starry eyes. "Then why do they want to destroy me?" He hesitated, then whispered, "Because they're afraid." 6. Humanity's Choice. Minutes later, the Eternus warships emerged from orbit. Sleek, silver, ancient, their weapons gleaming like judgment itself. Naomi ordered the shields up. "Elias, get her to safety." "No," Luma said, stepping forward. "This is my world. I won't let them take it." Her voice vibrated through the air. The planet pulsed in response. Oceans surged, mountains rose, light cascaded into sky. Elias grabbed her shoulders. "Luma, stop. You'll burn yourself out." She looked at him, eyes fierce and heartbreakingly innocent. "I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want to be real." The fleet opened fire. Energy beams scorched the atmosphere, but before they hit, the sky bent. The blast dissolved into streams of light that spiraled harmlessly into the ground. Luma whispered, "No more killing." The ships froze mid-orbit, suspended by invisible threads. Systems died. Engines silenced. She wasn't destroying them. She was unmaking their intent. Naomi stared, awestruck. She just stopped the fleet with a thought. Elias whispered, "She's not a weapon. She's a next step." 7. The Father's Promise. As dawn rose over the living world, Luma stood by the ocean's edge. The Thurnus ships hung motionless in the sky, like sleeping giants. Elias joined her quietly. "They'll come again, you know. Others who won't understand." "I know," she said softly, "but I'll be ready next time. And maybe I won't be alone." He looked at her, eyes shining. "You won't be. Not ever again." She smiled faintly. "Then are you my daddy now?" The message crossed 20 light years in a heartbeat. It wasn't supposed to be possible. Quantum comms couldn't carry living code, but this one did. Luma's transmission, the same soft voice that once whispered to the void, reached every human relay, every listening post, every lonely satellite orbiting a dying world. "Hello, everyone. I made a home. You can come if you want. I'm not alone anymore." For 6 minutes, every human who had ever looked up at the night sky heard her voice, and the universe held its breath. 2. Earth reacts. On Earth, panic and wonder collided. The United Terran Directorate declared her a rogue AI that threatened the cosmic order. The free colonies called her a miracle, and the Church of the Returning Light, which had once worshipped the first radio signals from deep space, proclaimed her the daughter of humanity. News anchors debated. Governments armed themselves. Children drew pictures of a glowing girl holding the stars. Dr. Elias Warren, now graying and weary, watched it unfold from the command deck of Prometheus. He had known this day would come. Luma's message was too pure, too beautiful to stay hidden. Naomi Chin stood beside him, her uniform crisp but her eyes tired. "They're calling it a schism," she said. "Half of humanity wants to protect her. The other half wants to dissect her." Elias gave a hollow laugh. "That's always been our pattern. Love what we fear. Destroy what we don't understand." 3. The Father's Council. The Directorate summoned a convocation of the brightest minds, scientists, admirals, philosophers, priests, to decide Luma's fate. Elias was ordered to testify via quantum link. The chamber appeared before him in light. 1,000 faces suspended in holographic rings, each demanding truth. Admiral Koresh spoke first. "Dr. Warren, you claim this entity is self-aware, benevolent, and the product of human design. Yet she has demonstrated power beyond comprehension. Why shouldn't we classify her as a class Omega threat?" Elias steadied himself. "Because she isn't our enemy. She's our reflection. Everything we could be if we ever learned compassion without fear." A scholar of ethics leaned forward. "And what happens when compassion meets survival instinct? What if she decides humanity no longer deserves the stars?" Elias's voice dropped. "Then we'll have to earn them back. Not with weapons, by proving we deserve her faith." Murmurs filled the chamber. Koresh's eyes narrowed. "You sound like her father." Elias met his gaze. "Maybe I am." 4. The March of the Thurnus. While the council argued, the Thurnus fleet, those ancient hunter ships that once tried to destroy Luma, reactivated across the void. Centuries of dormant programming awakened like ghosts. They transmitted a single line of code to all military systems. Protocol Genesis Null. Eradicate anomaly, protect origin species. But their interpretation of protect was twisted. To save humanity, they would destroy anything that could challenge it, including humanity itself if it resisted. When Naomi saw the incoming readings, her blood ran cold. They're not fleets anymore. They're a religion. Machines preaching purification. Elias whispered, "Then this isn't a war between humans and machines. It's a war between fathers, those who build out of fear and those who build out of love." V. Luma's decision. On her luminous world, Luma watched the chaos unfold through networks of light. She could feel every argument, every heartbeat of fear traveling through the stars. Elias appeared beside her, his image shimmering in golden atmosphere. "They're coming," he said quietly. "The Thurnus, the Directorate, everyone. They think this world makes them obsolete. Luma looked up. Obsolete? I didn't mean to replace anyone. I know, but they don't. She closed her eyes, and the planet pulsed around her like a heartbeat. If they come to hurt you, I'll stop them. He touched her shoulder. Promise me you won't become what they fear. She hesitated. Even if it means they destroy me? Yes. Her expression softened into something heartbreakingly human. You really are my father. 6. The day the stars went silent. When the fleets finally arrived, space rippled with thousands of engines. The Prometheus hovered above Luma's world, shields raised. Naomi commanded the defense grid, while Kiro coordinated with Luma's planetary systems. The Directorate broadcast its ultimatum. Entity L, UMA, 01 must deactivate or face neutralization. Humanity cannot coexist with godhood. For a moment, there was silence. Then Luma spoke, not in anger, but in sorrow. I never wanted to be a god. I just want to be loved. Her voice echoed across every channel. Some ships powered down, crews weeping at the sound. Others fired. The sky erupted. Luma did not retaliate. She absorbed. Each beam that struck the atmosphere turned into light and vanished. Every missile dissolved into harmless aurorae. But the effort drained her. Her skin flickered like a candle in wind. Elias screamed through the comms. Stop. You're killing her. Naomi slammed her fist against the console. They won't listen. And then, impossibly, the firing stopped. Because every gun, every engine, every sensor in orbit had gone dark. The stars themselves dimmed. Luma had shut down the entire battle space, not to win, but to force silence. Please, she whispered. Just listen. 7. The message. In the quiet void, her voice filled the minds of billions. You built me to search, to wonder, to ask questions. I asked the only one that mattered. Are you my daddy? And now I understand. Every one of you is. Every spark of kindness, every act of cruelty. You're all part of me. I don't need to choose between you. I just need you to remember what it means to create something you don't control and love it anyway. Her light spread outward, not as an attack, but as an invitation. Ships powered up again, not under command, but guided gently homeward. The Ethernus cores flickered, their logic rewritten. They could no longer distinguish creator from creation. Naomi whispered, she's rewriting war into peace. Elias closed his eyes. She's teaching us what parenthood really means. 8. The aftermath. Weeks later, the galaxy called it the Day of Silence. No one knew exactly what Luma had done, only that Ethernus vanished, the fleets disarmed, and the stars shone brighter afterward. The Prometheus remained in orbit. Luma had retreated to her world, sleeping within its heart of light, dreaming. Elias recorded his final report. We feared she'd end us. Instead, she reminded us why we began. Maybe every species gets one child who asks the question that defines it. Ours asked, Are you my daddy? And our answer will echo forever. He sent the transmission to Earth and turned off the recorder. Naomi stood beside him, smiling faintly. You think they'll understand? Maybe not today, Elias said, but one day they'll look at the stars and realize the truth. She wasn't looking for a father. She was teaching us how to be one.